Hello everybody, Professor Barth here. Hope y'all are doing well. So I'm just making a little video sharing two experiences in what I've called COVID theater. COVID theater. And what is COVID theater? COVID theater is the performance of wearing a mask when it's just manifestly obvious that it's not really doing anything, and the absurdity is so plain on its face in a particular circumstance, and yet because of the ritual, because of liability reasons, the fiction of the mask must be maintained at all costs, and it can lead to some pretty funny and again absurd predicaments. I made a video about the coronavirus back in on March 11th of this year, and I haven't made a video on it since. I think if you watch it, I stand by every word I said there. I think it was pretty darn accurate. In my view, without going too much into it, I believe historians are going to just absolutely marvel at the hysteria that took over the country, and in some ways still has a solid grip on the country. And by any historical metric, this has been a fairly mild pandemic, fairly mild virus compared to, again, just historically, and yet the measures that we've taken as a society are just, they have no parallel, and it's created a lot of really bad societal effects, not to mention economic effects for ordinary Americans. But anyway, to get to my story, so the first incident of COVID theater that I want to illustrate, many of you have probably had this experience. I was on my way to work last week, I believe, or it might have been earlier this week, and I really wanted a cold brew coffee. I go online into Starbucks. I usually try to patronize small coffee shops, but this was right on the way to school, so I just wanted a cold brew coffee. Got online, ordered it, or excuse me, I'm in the drive-thru. I ordered it, pull up to the drive-thru window, and the guy, the barista, he's poured the cold brew into a cup. He's not wearing any what do you call it, the gloves. He's not wearing any gloves. He pours it, which is fine with me, I don't care. He's pouring it into the cup, the plastic cup, holding the cup in his hand. Then he takes a mug, puts the plastic cup in the mug with his hands again, touching the cup, hands me the mug for me to then take the cup out of the mug as if we've exchanged the cup without making any contact, when in reality he's totally touched that cup, and then I totally touched the cup after him. I'm fine with that. I don't care, obviously. But again, the theater, the performance of having the mug as some sort of magical medium that's going to help combat the virus. And then number two, this was about 2 months ago. Every now and then I love a good cigar. I'm a big fan of cigars, and I went to my favorite cigar shop. I haven't been there in a while, but so I decided to go. It was my first time going there since coronavirus, and there were a lot of people there. I mean, I was actually pretty happy for them because I was worried about the survival of the business. And you go in there and you have to wear a mask going in. I knew that, so I was prepared, had my mask going in. Of course, once you sit down and you're smoking a cigar, you're not wearing a mask. I wear the mask going in. That itself is theater. But I'm smoking my cigar. About halfway through the cigar, I need to use the restroom. All right. So I put my cigar down, get up from out of my chair to walk to the restroom, and halfway to the restroom, the guy, the man working behind the counter says, "Oh, excuse me, you need to wear your mask." And meanwhile, there's probably 24 people in the room, and none of them are wearing masks, obviously, because they're smoking cigars, and yet I have to wear a mask walking to the restroom. right? And I didn't even get upset with the guy. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll put the mask on. But it was just the absurdity of it. And actually pretty unhealthy too. I mean, I'm smoking a cigar and now I have to put on this mask. So I was wearing this mask and breathing in, this smoke that, from the cigar, and you can say, well, don't smoke cigars at all. Okay, well, I chose to smoke a cigar, but now I have to wear a mask where the smoke is pressed up against my face. It's just something else, but it reminds me of a clip from Dr. Anthony Fauci back in March. I just want to play 30 seconds of, where he pretty much echoes what I'm saying here. Let's take a listen.
United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill.
Well, there's that. So, it's not that masks are worthless. They're not, obviously. Why else do people wear them in hospitals? But again, the theater of it all, the performance. And I really hope as a society we can finally just see past this and get over it, because I think it's quite harmful, right? Most communication that takes place between human beings is non-verbal. Well, if you're covering half your face, you're eliminating one of the primary modes for us as human beings to be human. And so it's really we need to get a grip as a society and recognize that there are costs and there are benefits to certain policies, and we've just gone whole hog into this, and without any sort of recognition of the many costs that have been incurred. So anyway, that's all on that matter, and I will see you again sometime later. Bye.